Phoenix Rising by Michael Anastas. Nikki, still feeling a little guilty about leaving when Michael had volunteered, came down to the Sierra Mana Hospital at 7:30 the next morning. She tiptoed through the door and almost fainted when she saw the empty bed. "Merlin!" she shouted. "We have a crisis!" Merlin stumbled past her and almost broke down and cried when he saw the bed. But then his eyes fell upon the corner in which I had collapsed in. The evil in me had died of fright, and I still remained there, back as a ninetails, shivering on the floor. "Faith!" he shouted as he came towards me. He gently placed his hands on my shoulder. "Faith, are you all right?" I looked up into his eyes. Blue human eyes. Michael had been possessed, yet the true master of the Phoenix remained fully human before me. I broke down and threw my arms around him, crying onto his shoulder. "It's all my fault!" I cried. "It's all my fault!" Merlin was still in shock, but he accepted my embrace. "It's okay," he whispered. "It's okay. Tell me everything." Merlin wasn't whispering when I told him what was missing from the story. "You did what?" he shouted, almost as loud as Michael had done when his eyes glowed as gold. "I told you," I uttered, completely shaken. "I made a wish. Michael had said that we couldn't be together because he is a human and I'm a Pokemon, so I wished that I could be a human. I didn't actually think someone would make my wish come true." Freeman cradled his head in his hands. "If there's one thing Michael taught us all, it's that we have to be careful with the words we say. My brother, Merlin's father, Gary, Giovanni, they all made wishes, and look what that got them." "Is that it?" asked Nikki. "No, there's more. Midway through Michael's flight, the wraith sent another minion, Gary Oak, to deliver the second message. There was a short fight in the bathroom, which resulted in his coma and the scars that became infected. Then, when the plane was landing, Brendan Bible was sent to destroy the engine." "He's still alive?" shouted Freeman. "Yes. You cannot kill a minion unless you get to the root of the evil. That was how Meowth's minion died. He knew he didn't stand much of a chance as Meowth, so he came out to do battle. Then Darius's Ungermax killed it." "That makes sense," said Ash. "Please, continue." "All right. This is the part I'm not very sure of. At midnight last night, I was sent in a final attempt to have Michael change sides. They targeted him because he has the least power amongst the 10 of you, and what with his deranged past, probably the weakest of mind. They thought he would change sides easily in his sleep, but before my minion could complete the process, the room grew brighter. I backed away, thinking it was a searchlight, but the light never faded, and then Michael sat up from the—" "Hold on," said Freeman. "Light? What color was the light?" I was silent. "Kind of a gold color." Freeman's eyes widened. "Was he in perfect health? No longer in his body cast?" "Yes." "Eyes glowing the same color as the light?" "Yes." "Freeman," said Merlin, "you're starting to scare me. Do you know something I don't?" "I think I do." He leaned in closer. "Did he say the time had come?" I swallowed hard. "Yes." "For what?" I took a deep breath before saying the words. "Phoenix Rising." Freeman fell backwards out of his chair, somersaulted twice, and struck the wall, tangled in his robes. Until now, we had all neglected to ever confirm the fact that his underwear was showing. We were all too much in shock to laugh. Freeman stumbled to his feet. "Phoenix Rising? I don't know if I should laugh or cry." Freeman took us to his office, where he opened the bottom drawer of his filing cabinet and pulled out a dusty old book. "This book has been passed down from Bible to Bible for 300 years, he said in haste, "but I never would have believed something could actually come true from it." He blew off the dust and flipped through the pages. "This is an updated version. The original was handwritten and is barely readable, so my father made this printed version. Originally, its purpose was to give information on the rarest of rare Pokemon. However, the rarest of the rare are 1 in a million, and there's quite a lot to some of them. Merlin, what was the name of the Pokemon we saw?" "Which one?" "The one you, me, and Ash saw during our near-death experiences." "Ho-Oh." He thumbed to a page and slid his finger down it. "The History and Prophecy of Ho-Oh," read Freeman. "Ho-Oh, better known as the Phoenix, is one of the many Pokemon we may never witness the sight of for centuries to come. This legendary bird is said to be the mother of life, and I say bird as a singular, for there is only one left in the world. Though their extinction may come as a tragedy, we cannot say that it should come as a shock. While they have very long lifespans, they do not breed well. When the first Pokeballs were invented, there were only 50 Phoenix birds in existence. The largest number of Phoenixes ever recorded were not even twice that number. Today, this wondrous bird has been reduced to a single survivor, and its days are limited. Freeman flipped past a few pages. It goes on to say some things that don't really matter, stuff like what they ate and where they would nest depending on temperature and such, and other things we can skip past. He turned his eyes down to the page. There is, however, a legend told throughout the quiet city of Lavender Town, which is where I believe I shall stay for the rest of my life. When this last Phoenix dies, so too will the legend. I find it hard to believe that future events can be foretold, but everything seems to be falling into place. Even if it is but a bundle of lies, such a wondrous fable cannot go untold. Before the end of the 16th century, the very last of the holy birds of fire will perish in the blackest of existing realms on Earth. Her existence will be reduced to a single portrait on the walls. The symbolic love of her eternal flame shall be forgotten. Her existence shall be reduced to a mere fairy tale, and many a foolish man will grow old and withered in search of her. Those who are determined in their searches shall meet their ultimate demise. For centuries, acknowledgement of her existence will be reduced to those intrepid adventurers foolish enough to go in search. Then, 5 years before the coming of darkness, the spirit of the last Phoenix shall smile upon a poor soul near death. He will live through an experience which he should not have, and will be rewarded with the marvelous sight of a bird of the purest flame passing overhead. History shall repeat itself until a small army has been formed. Those she has revealed herself to shall come together by way of destiny, and grow strong under the first eyes. Then cometh a demon from the darkness of Gehenna. He will harvest chaos in the world and secret gardens, taking weary souls as seeds. The demon shall have rule for 5 years, but then greed shall overcome him, and he will strive to take one of the Phoenix's children from her light. The Phoenix shall not allow this, and will come down into her dying child before darkness becomes him. Using her child as a puppet, she will resurrect the Ho-Ohs, her brothers and sisters, and a holy war will engulf the world. The forces of day and night shall be evenly matched, and the only victims shall be those foolish enough to stand in their way. He closed the book, and the thump of the pages sent our hearts flying. The prophecy of the Phoenix rising, said Freeman. Merlin looked unbearably pale. Those she revealed herself to shall grow strong under the first eyes, Merlin repeated. You don't think the first eyes are me, do you? It makes sense, said Freeman. You were the first of us to see a Ho-Oh, and it was through your school that we came together. Ash swallowed hard. Does this mean I wasn't the only one? I don't know. I know that you, Merlin, and I have seen her in hazardous experiences. He raised his eyes to the rest of the group. Have any of you been keeping anything secret? Darius bit his lower lip. Andrew crossed his hands behind his back and rocked on his heels. Cassie sucked in a deep breath through her teeth. Nikki fidgeted nervously. Dragon crossed his arms and smiled. Cristobal rubbed the back of his neck and stuttered for a moment. "Oh, God!" Merlin whined. "All of you saw her?" They all looked up nervously and eventually nodded in confirmation. "Damn it!" Merlin shouted. "Everything in that damn book is coming true!" "Huh?" "A force of darkness cometh from Gehenna," Merlin repeated. "Harvest the world of chaos, using weary souls as his seeds. The wraiths! The demon shall have rule for 5 years. Well, the last 5 years haven't exactly been all that kind to us. From the giant Tentacruel to the Pokemopolis monsters to Mew3, it's been bad. Greed shall overcome him, and he shall strive to take one of the Phoenix's children. That, my friend, is Michael." I could hear the gears turning in everyone's heads. Because I had made a foolish wish, a great prophecy was about to come true, and nothing good could come out of this holy war they spoke of.